Welcome to the Bricks Attic. Come along as I give you a tour of the store. I started this journey back in 2016. I planned on this being my retirement gig. I've now been doing this full time for a couple of months. And I gotta say, I'm loving it. My full-time job, I worked at a brick manufacturing company. I did that for almost 22 years. My trade was a welder, metal fabricator. And let's just say retirement came early. I decided I want to do this full time with my family. And I left my employer. I have almost 22 years to do this. The room is, it's built into the basement, primarily to retain heat in the wintertime. Living in the Northeast, it gets pretty cold. So I didn't want to sacrifice all of my basement for it. Probably should have, seeing as though eventually going to have to grow, but either way, this does hold the heat in, which was the point. Over here is the wash station. Works pretty good. Not as efficient as a washer would be, but I am on a well, so I have to reserve water. Very important. And then it dries here. Nothing fancy. Fan dries here. This is just the used, and it goes into a tote, and we have lots of totes of used. And then in this section, basically stuff for the collection, and a lot of it is stuff that will be held and sold on eBay when it holds more value. So into the store we go. So the original store was at my first house in the basement, a much smaller basement. We moved to this house, and I wanted to create a space just for this. This is an enclosed space that we built. Instead of taking over the whole basement, we wanted this enclosed for heat purposes. We live in the Northeast, and as you probably know, it gets pretty cold. So this is an enclosed room within a basement with carpet, layer of plastic. So the beginning of the pick starts here in these old stack-ons that you can no longer purchase. It's one-sided picking. As you can see, we have the old Lowe's blue that originally was going to be just for used. Then realized, what's the point? Each drawer gets apart. No need for just a section. And then we've got the Craftsman units. Don't like them as much as the stack-ons. They do hold a little bit more, but I do prefer the old stack-ons better. Comes around here to the A section, which are the Sterilite large drawers. I get asked this a lot. What these are just cut down shoe boxes. I used to have the shoe boxes in a shelf, and they just became hard to pick out of. They were stacked 3 high. So I had hundreds of them and decided I will make use of them, and I cut them in half. And they fit in this just nice. But of course, some parts are bigger and don't fit, so they ended back up into shoe boxes. But we have reduced the amount of shoe boxes and much prefer picking out of the Sterilite large drawers. Over here, we have our bag section. Each drawer has its own size. When the drawer gets low, we'll order that size. Here is the pick cart. It is a media cart with an HP all-in-one computer. Parts go into there. And it is run off a battery bank. So it's completely mobile. And then over here is our larger drawers. I don't have a lot in there. Some Duplo and some base plates, poly bags, things like that. Here is the shipping station. The binder with stickers and bags for the parts. And over here is where we house the instructions. We list just vintage or instructions that are worth a little bit more. We are currently sitting at 731K, 21,000 lots. There's my son. He's gonna be going to work this morning. I would also like to mention that we took just about 3 years off of selling from BrickLink in between moving, and we started back up, and I believe 2022 is when we started back up. So we did take a 3-year hiatus from selling on BrickLink and was primarily selling on eBay. We have a separate room in the house for the eBay stuff. All shipping from the BrickLink store. As you notice, there is no printer. We have a printer, thermal printer, and computer upstairs that we do the shipping from, because our eBay inventory is in another room upstairs. So all that's done upstairs and not down here. So the clean used goes into this bin. Then we sort it out. Ends up on this table. Categorized in shoe boxes and then into smaller cups. Then they get held in more shoe boxes by category. When the shoe box is filled, then it gets down sorted by color and put into the store. So here my son is uploading a set. We store small quantities of sets in these Harbor Freight trays. When he wants to earn something, he can just pull a set, take the set number, go to the computer, go into BrickLink Store, find the file. I pre-make files, and then just pull the file number and upload it all by himself. Well, that is the store tour. Thanks for coming along.